Is there some intro music?
Well,
No intro music?
we have something that gets added somewhere. I don't know.
You counted us down, folks. Welcome to another riveting edition of Missouri Swagger. Last time we didn't bother looking up the episode number, so we're going to go with that. This is episode
Season
2
two,
of
season
the
2,
new
episode 2.
Oh, there you go.
Season 2, episode 2 of Missouri Swagger with me, Dennis Hopeless, that guy there in the St. Louis hat, Cullen Bunn, and the great Kyle Strahm.
Hey.
Kyle, you have what I call self-isolation blues, man.
Do I? No, I got two. I got little sleep blues is what I have.
So you're not sleeping? Oh, yeah, you were working all night, weren't you?
Yes, I stayed up until 3 because a publisher. I don't know how much of this I should say.
I think you can say a publisher because, I mean, I don't know if Dennis has experienced it, but you have, and I have.
A publisher has put all projects on postponement, and I needed to get a script in this morning to be able to put in my voucher for it. So I stayed up like in high school and wrote my essay.
Were you drinking Mountain Dew and popping Excedrin migraine?
Actually, I haven't had any caffeine since social isolation, social distancing began. But last night I had some, and that was my problem. I had a big energy drink at like 9 p.m. and then I was awake until 5, even though I was finished way before that. So that's why I look tired.
You look great. You're mistaken.
All right.
I drink so much caffeine that I could drink caffeine before bed. Sometimes I would go get an iced coffee in the middle of the day. I mean, not anymore because I can't leave the house, but I would, and I would come back and immediately take a nap.
Yeah. I can drink caffeine and go straight to bed and be fine.
Not me. However, I used to be able to. Not anymore.
If I don't drink it in the morning first thing, I can't do a goddamn thing. Like I'm completely useless. Pouring my children cereal is a task without a cup of coffee.
It sounds like you have an addiction.
I clearly do. And I quit drinking hot coffee. I quit making it, and I would go get my iced coffee every day. So at least I had to go somewhere to get it. But then they shut that shit down. So the first
thing what you could do?
On coffee. What?
Hold on a second. Hold on to your pants, guys. Dennis, make a hot coffee. Pour it over
I like where
ice.
this is going.
No, because iced coffee tastes like dick. Cold brew is a delicious coffee, but it requires a lot of coffee grounds to make it. Like you have to let it soak overnight and then strain it out, and it's too much work. So I much prefer hot coffee over hot coffee that's been cooled off. But cold brew is the perfect form of coffee, and I'm not going to make it here. It's just not worth it.
So how much food do you have stockpiled in your house right now?
Mine's a problem because produce doesn't keep, and that's all I eat. So like trying to keep enough fucking hummus in this house is a situation. You can order it on Amazon in like Sabra containers in packs of 12, but they're $9 a piece, and they're only $4 a piece at the grocery store. So I'm not going to pay double. So finally
the produce eaters get what's coming to them.
I've been eating a lot of oranges.
Yeah.
I got these apples.
You are very proud of those damn apples.
Well, because they brought them over at 10 o'clock last night. I Amazoned them from Whole Foods, and they brought them over. They did not bring my hummus. I had to brave the grocery store this morning to buy hummus because I can't live without it. But I don't know. I have lots of food for the kids. They bought lots of snack packs and soup and Chef Boyardee and whatnot. I can feed them for a while, but I only have them half the time.
I have been eating like I ate when I was in college. Like I had a TV dinner the other night, and I thought it was amazing. I had
Is it kid cuisine?
No, it was Hungry Man.
How do you
it has like a brownie in it, has some chicken strips.
Oh yeah, I know those brownies. I know those frozen ass chicken strips.
Yeah, they were good. It smelled like a Woolworths in here for some reason. I don't know. I mean, it smelled like a Woolworths diner. But I've had, frozen pizza, which we never eat. I ate Beanie Weenie several times over the last couple of weeks.
What's several?
4 or 5. I think I bought 6 cans and I'm down to 2, so 4.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I listened to a podcast the other day with an infectious disease expert who said the best thing you can do for yourself during this is stay healthy. Like eat healthy, exercise, drink water, don't drink too much, don't do drugs. So that seemed like a really good idea until the fucking grocery store stopped being a thing. It seems extremely difficult to not just fill your body with salt all the time.
It sounds like you're not trying to do that though, Cullen.
What, be healthy?
Yeah.
I'll have you know that when I was a boy, we used to go on almost like during the summer, maybe once every couple of weeks, we would go to Harker's Island. We'd take the boat to Harker's Island. We'd go fishing. And a lot of times we'd bring family members. And we always would stop at this giant mecca of fishing equipment. And it was an amazing store, guys. It was massive, like the size of a Walmart. And much of it was fishing equipment. But they also had coloring books and comic books and candy and Beanie Weenie and flavored peanut butters. And
What flavors? What flavors were they?
They had my favorite was the strawberry one, but they had strawberry peanut butter, chocolate peanut butter, and a banana peanut butter, and they were all great. But they also had Beanie Weenies, and we'd buy them. And I remember one of those trips, I had gotten Beanie Weenies and an issue of Famous Monsters magazine and a Flash Gordon coloring book. And I was eating Beanie Weenie, reading Famous Monsters, and flipping through, coloring my coloring book. And my Aunt Joan...
All at once. You were doing that all at once. It was a frenzy.
It was. When you have that much awesome in one place, you got to just take care of it. You got to go. But my Aunt Joan told my mom, Cullen sure is eating a lot of Beanie Weenie. He's not eating anything healthy. And my mom, who took no guff from anybody, said, you let that boy eat what he wants to eat. He's my kid anyway. And if I say Beanie Weenie's healthy, then Beanie Weenie's healthy. And at least he's eating something. And that's every time I eat that can of Beanie Weenie, I dedicate it to my mom. Thanks, Mom.
I was really hoping you'd lose the thread of that story in the middle and not remember why you started it.
I'm glad you did.
I remember all of my stories, all the way through, from beginning to end.
I know. You're sharp as a tack.
I can't say that I'm sharp as a tack.
We're saying
dull.
it for you. We're saying it for you.
Thank you.
It's weird. I guess it's only weird for me because I put so much energy into framing my shot, but it's weird that I can't see Cullen's chin, but I can see his entire ceiling fan.
You can't see my chin? I can see it.
Well, when you lift your head up, when you lean forward to tell your story.
Well, if I lean forward, sure. I'll sit back like this. How's that?
Can you raise your chair up a little bit?
Hey, can you kiss my ass a little bit?
No, I can't. We're social distancing.
Did you guys stop talking?
Whoa, my chair went down. That's the wrong way.
There you go. That's better.
All right, I'm looking at your shelf. It's kind of dark in there. It doesn't look like you changed what was on the shelf.
I changed
last
nothing.
Week. All right.
Actually, I did, but you won't notice what it is. So
yeah, you're right. I won't.
I removed some printer cartridges that were sitting on the shelf and put them in a box somewhere.
I need to get some light back there. He needs like a background light to go on the shelf so we can see it in the shot better.
Next time I'll light my shelf up the way my smile lights up a room.
So did you downloaded that folder I sent you, right?
Oh yes.
I did.
And you looked at it.
Yeah, but I think
you want to tell us where this story came from, Kyle? Why you were even thinking of it?
Yeah, so I was on Dennis wants to tell you why I was thinking of it.
No, I just want to tell you that you buried the lead because there's a character that was not in the initial image you sent who should have been forefront and center. So go ahead.
Was he?
The copper kid should have been the thing.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that. I was on Instagram, as I have been many times this week, and somebody posted this poster of a Thundercats live from 1987. Live and on stage, the Thundercats. Lorimar, and Steven Goldberg present Thundercats Live. And it was a live stage show featuring not just the Thundercats, but the Silverhawks, Gumby and Pokey,
Gumby for some fucking
and
reason.
something called the Street Frogs, who kind of look like homeless frogs, and something called and I read that what was the third Rankin Bass series that failed, the one about the fish after
Tiger
Silverhawks?
Sharks.
Tiger Sharks. Yeah, and the thing I read said that the Tiger Sharks showed up, but there's no photo evidence of those guys.
Because nobody gave a shit then, just like nobody gives a shit now.
Yeah, so my hope was...
I like the Tiger Sharks.
Of course you did.
They had a battle
Robots,
cry
man.
too, but I don't think did they have a transforming villain?
I don't remember.
Hmm.
Surely they did, but if you don't know, most of the people listening to this probably do know. But the Thundercats, of course, were a huge success.
Mhm.
And, well, were they? I don't know. They were successful enough.
Yeah, they were crazy successful because they were coming on the heels of He-Man.
And so somebody said, well, let's do another show. Let's do Silverhawks. And they didn't hire anybody else. They just used the same team to now produce 2 shows. And Silverhawks, they kind of got by the skin of their teeth. I watched it as a kid, and
I loved it.
I've watched it as an adult. But then they did a third one, which is Tiger Sharks, which I've never even seen. But I'm straying far from the path here.
No, wait. The Silverhawks is amazing because the plot structure of even the pilot is absolute nonsense. Where they paid a bunch of money to animate Monstar's initial transformation whenever he's in prison, and there's about to be a lunar eclipse or some fucking nonsense.
It's the moon star of Limbo.
Yeah, of Mayhem, right?
Moonstar of Limbo.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
I don't know the rest of the rhyme, but it was awesome.
Show me the might,
the menace,
the mayhem.
Muscle.
The
mayhem,
muscle, the might, the menace, the muscle.
I don't know. Probably the mayhem.
It might be the might, the muscle, the menace. It doesn't matter.
This is my favorite moment in Missouri Swagger ever.
Anyway,
it's a very Missouri Swagger.
Of all the people we know, we should know.
Yeah.
What we're
By the
talking
way,
about,
just to let you know, I got a message from our producer that all of the Tiger Sharks transformed into both a humanoid and an aquatic form.
I really like to think of Anton squirming, going like, "I know this,
You
guys,
fucking idiots,
you dumbasses."
I think every episode we should talk about one thing. Secretly, we'll come up with one thing that we know will make Anton just cringe, and see how long it takes for a message to pop up.
So
the first episode, all of the energy was spent on making the villain, and the villain's awesome because Monstar escapes from prison and transforms into the big monstrous version and goes and gets his car and it's gone wild and all that. But all the Silverhawks.
It's a squid.
Yeah,
Don't yada 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 over that.
A squid.
So it's called the Star Runner, maybe.
That sounds good.
It could be.
Skyrunner.
Skyrunner. And
so.
they are in the sky, I guess. They're beyond the sky. It's a squid.
Yes.
That used to be his buddy. It's kind of like the Blues Brothers, okay? Yeah. So Monstar gets out of prison, and then he goes to find this squid that used to be his companion. And when he sees it, he tries to get him to come with him, but it attacks him. And Monstar says,
"You've gone wild, right?"
He's gone wild.
Yeah.
And then he has to capture him, and it's really not a very nice situation. He puts him in a machine.
Monstar was interesting because,
pardon me.
I mean, he was pretty much Mum-Ra from Thundercats, only he was muscular and powerful in both of his forms, right?
Yeah, he's actually cooler looking when he's a monster than he is when he's the big robot thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, also, he's supposed to be a mob boss, but they never explain the crime. Like, the ways in which he benefits from having this ragtag team of poorly designed villains with him, it's not ever made clear.
So it's like every mob movie ever?
No, it's way worse.
Society. There's no society. They're out in the cosmos
When you got a
separated from
guy with
everyone.
buzzsaws, doesn't he have a guy with buzzsaws
Yeah.
on his arms and you can
Yeah.
throw them?
Do you
Yeah,
know
you
what-
don't need.
do you know what
and he
his
has a
name
heavy
was?
metal dude, right?
Buzzsaw.
Dude with a magic guitar.
Do you know what his name was, Cullen?
No, I know the Silverhawk's name, but not the
His name was Buzzsaw.
buzzsaw. But who was the guy with the guitar?
Well, you're talking about Bluegrass, and he's a good guy.
Yeah,
There's a-
there was a good,
Yeah,
but there was
but-
an evil dude with the guitar.
No, there's
an
an evil
woman.
woman. There's
He's got
an
a
evil
guitar.
woman.
Don't
And
be stupid.
A guitar.
if you look at the photos that I sent you, you'll see a live action recreation. So
All right, I'm looking.
we've really gone astray here, guys.
Isn't her
So-
name like Harmonica or something?
We have
Oh
a
wow! I thought that was one of the misfits from Jim and the Holograms.
No. So
It's
there's
hot
this collection. There's a collection of photos that shows this live action show, and it's these guys dressed as
That was my favorite tangent of all time.
the Thundercats, but they got like big puffy clothes, and then the Snarf one's the funniest.
Those puffy clothes are muscles. Like they're
I-
fake muscles.
Are you telling me they
are
couldn't
you?
hire some people to dance around the Javits Center that with real muscles and dress
Well,
like a damn?
There were way fewer
Thundercat?
people. There were way fewer people that were jacked back then because like fitness was not as all encompassing as it is now. Like there were bodybuilders, there were people that did it, but there wasn't. Like now, you could just go like hire Instagram models who work out on camera and they go be Lion-O. But back
I feel
then,
like you know about
Sorry,
hiring
fine.
Instagram models for some reason.
I don't. I've never paid money to an Instagram model, but I know they exist.
Continue, Kyle.
All right. So I did some research last night because, as you know, I had a lot of caffeine and I was up very late. And I found the website with all these photos. And then I found a guy talking about how he went to the show when he was 3.5. I don't know how he remembers. My biggest hope. Did you guys ever go to one of these weird live shows in the 80s?
I saw Masters of the Universe live.
I
at
did not
World of
in the
Fun.
80s. I've taken my kid in recent years. Like
I went to the Ninja Turtle one, and I know they had VHS recordings of the show that you could buy. And did they have that at He-Man, or do you
Was that
remember?
the Follow Your Heart one?
Oh yeah, that's that one.
I think
That
the
was-
He-Man thing predates VHS being a thing that they would sell to children.
This
Because
might too, because it was
I went to the
1987.
Scooby-Doo one.
Did
Recently,
they?
Well, when, like maybe 8-9 years ago, when my kid and we bought backstage passes so that he could meet Shaggy and
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby, all the whole Scooby gang.
I got a question. Was it a guy dressed in Shaggy's clothes, or was it a guy in a weird
man, suit.
fabric suit that looked like the cartoon design of Shaggy?
No, it was just a dude dressed in Shaggy's clothes.
It was like a bad Halloween costume.
Yeah,
Or a good one? Could have been
or a
good.
good one. But there was no puff muscles. Not even Fred had puff
Well, Shaggy
muscles.
doesn't need puff muscles.
But
Is there-
Fred,
Is there a way to put these photos on the videos
Yes.
so that
Yes, we've
so
done that
everybody doesn't turn it off immediately?
yeah, we
I
can.
think
we
one
can,
time we put my pig costume on, didn't we?
Yeah, we can put video images up there. I mean, I'm speaking for Anton, but I think we can put video pictures up there.
So this
I
guy,
like the idea that Anton's not really recording this. He's just making us talk for his own amusement.
I was thinking of that too, like in that camp movie where none of the shit's plugged in. Anton's just drinking, playing Nintendo, listening. He's the one member of our audience. All right. So this guy mentions in his blog post about these Thundercats that he really enjoyed watching the Silverhawks because they were on wires, and he thought it was super cool. But in the comments section,
Good.
here you go ahead because I got to pull up this screenshot I took.
Are you going to
I was
tell me
just-
that someone in the comments section said something snarky or
I was
snide?
just going to say that in 1986 or whatever, live children's stage production of people in puffy Silverhawks costumes on wires flying around has probably about as realistic physics as the cartoon did.
Maybe a little more realistic because
they
there's
can't breathe in
gravity.
space.
All right. So this is a post on the blog entry. It's from DB12590, who has no picture, just a gray silhouette of a head. And they say, "I'm so glad that you like the Silverhawks portion, as I played Lieutenant Quicksilver on the tour, as well as Mako of the Tiger Sharks and one of the Street Frogs. While I have pictures of the set, for fear of copyright infringement, I don't want to post. There was a large 8-foot. He goes on to describe the set, but then he says, the flying was done by Foy, who flew Peter Pan in the stage productions. It was fun, though there were a few times we had issues getting unclipped, and then and they began raising the cables while one side was still connected. But that's live theater.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. I thought you were gonna say there was a bad comment. That's a great comment to get on your.
It is a great comment. And then another guy
said, "You are a douche."
Another guy said, I love this thing. I found a newspaper article, a review of it from 1987 from the Philadelphia Inquirer. And so I looked up the Philadelphia Inquirer. I found the article, and it starts by the guy talking about Bruce Springsteen. And he's like, you may go to the Bruce Springsteen concert and hold up your Bic and light the fire, but I went to a concert where 1,000 screaming kids were holding up glowing swords. And then you had to pay $2.97 to read the rest of the article, so I didn't bother.
That's cool that they sold Sword of Omens swords. I had a plastic glowing Sword of Omens sword that I bought at Revco in probably 1986, and I kept it for years and years, and then I was sword fighting with a neighbor who had a stick, and it split down the middle.
Last year.
Like a couple years later. And it was the most disappointing toy break of my childhood. Like, it was traumatic.
Yeah.
Because I went back in thinking my mom could glue it. And she's like, no, the part that broke is a tiny little seam. If we put glue on that, it'll just split again. That's how
Actually,
I learned about
I hate that story. I don't like that. Because it makes me sad.
Story.
It makes me sad. What's your most disappointing toy break, Kyle?
Well, before I talk about that, I want to talk about, I didn't have a Sword of Omens, but I did have a Zorro sword. And do you know how he holds the Sword of Omens up to his face?
Uh-huh.
I don't know where my mind was, but I taped the sword to my face for some reason. And it didn't last long.
Use your arm.
But I was running around with the sword taped to my face.
Trying to get sight beyond sight.
What is my most
That actually makes
toy
sense.
break?
If you think about it, because he does it to get sight beyond sight where he can see where bad stuff's going on. So you were using it like binoculars. Running around.
Cullen, what's your most disappointing toy break? I'll think of mine.
Mine was, there was a toy, I think I've talked to you about this, Kyle, I'm sure, called Magnor.
Mm-hmm.
And Magnor was this little guy who looked like Swamp Thing. And the gimmick of Magnor was you could tear his arms off and tear his legs off, and then they'd stick back together and he'd be whole again.
Oh, yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
And I got him, and I was so excited because the commercials were so awesome for Magnor. And I tore his arm off, and it did not stick back together. It just never fit back on him.
It was just a piece of crap toy?
If any amount of dust got on Magnor's arms, it would lose its stickiness.
Yeah, but you could wash it with soap.
That didn't work. That didn't work very well. It's still, his arms never stuck on the way they were supposed to.
So was it like a sticky hand situation?
Then
like
they were, like a wall crawler type thing.
Yeah, okay.
But it didn't clean up as well. Then they released the rejuvenation chamber, which you were supposed to be able to put Magnor into, and he would come out and be brand new, basically. And that didn't work either. So both of those were those are big disappointments in my childhood. Like,
it just had another figure in it. It was like one of those things where you transform because of the two
oh,
versions.
that would have been awesome. That would have been great, because then I could have just had the broken up Magnor. Because I remember I love anything that you can twist and another figure shows up. My Star Trek playset had a transporter chamber, and you twist the top and they'd vanish, and it was I thought that was the height of technology. It was the coolest toy I'd ever
like
seen.
A mirror on a cylinder.
Yeah. And I'd make the sound.
It should have made the sound if they'd given you batteries with it.
Yeah, but they didn't have batteries.
Before I figured out that my children hate action figures and don't care about anything that isn't like
kids don't like that.
Like make believe, I bought them the PJ Masks playset, which is 3 separate playsets that make their weird totem pole thing. But it's got like a normal version of the kid in it. When you turn it, then you put the PJ Masks figure in it. But it came with an extra PJ Masks figure, which we all had already, because that's the first thing kids buy, or the grown men that want their children to play with the thing they think is cool at Walmart. And all they want to do is play with the little normal one. I guess I played with Prince Adam, though. That probably says more about me than anything.
You had
Prince
it.
Prince Adam was awful.
That was my favorite figure. I chewed his hands into like little weird.
You
flat nip.
chewed his hands.
That's
had a
what may
problem.
say a little more about you, Dennis.
I had a problem with chewing action figure hands when I was a child.
I don't think I ever really got devastated by any broken toys because I just rolled with it and then like cobbled something together. But as an adult, I get irritated if I've purchased a toy and it breaks.
Well, that's because you understand money.
The thumbs
Yeah.
broke off my Snake Eyes action figure, and
Yeah, because you were just like jamming stuff in there.
it
Probably.
really made me mad. I lost my Luke Skywalker lightsaber that would extend up out of his arm.
Mhm.
So I replaced that with a toothpick.
Yeah, I did that. I colored it yellow
Yeah, me too.
Toothpick's probably a sturdier sword anyway.
and sharper and
And you could set
can
it on
actually
fire.
hurt you. You could set it on fire. My neighbor used to blow up his toys. He was like Sid from that Toy Story movie.
I would shoot mine with pellet guns once I got older. I'd set them up at the creek because we had a creek with a little culvert that went under the road, and Ninja Turtle figures were the perfect size to be like in the sewer, so like water would run out. And so I started by
Ninja Turtles live in the sewer.
right. It was made, what I'm saying is the culvert was about this big around, so the figures were the perfect size for the thing.
I know what my most devastating toy moment was as a child. I didn't have a lot of GI Joes that were new or complete. I had like a lot of garage sale or like traded with a friend GI Joes. But somehow I got Wetsuit, the scuba diver, and he was complete. And he had like those little flippers that stuck to the bottom of his feet. And I was playing with him in the sink, and his flipper floated into the hole in the sink,
No.
and it was lost forever. And that really was a sad time.
You
for
could
me.
have taken the pipe apart and gotten it out, right?
I was a child,
Well, no, you couldn't have, but you could have complained enough that your dad did it.
maybe. I might
Probably
have been.
not.
No.
I'm just thinking about what my dad would say.
All right. I just remembered we didn't talk enough about the Copper Kid from Silverhawks.
Yes. Talk more about Silverhawks.
Impossible.
and Thundercats.
The Copper Kid, he's made of copper, but he's from the planet of the mimes in Silverhawks.
Yeah.
He doesn't speak.
He beeps.
He beeps. Am I getting this right? Is his hand some sort of flute that he's like?
Seemingly.
But at the end of every episode, there would be like an educational moment where Copper Kid was sitting in like this like weird computer chair, and the computer would teach him lessons. And they always would play up, it's Copper Kid, he's from the planet of the mimes. And there was one episode where the lesson at the end, one of the questions was, what is the only planet that we know of with life on it? And the answer was Earth. And it was very sad because all of the mimes are dead. They're all
we don't consider mimes to be actual intelligent life, which is fair.
not intelligent life.
I
Life,
fucking hate
period.
mimes.
I always thought Copper Kid was sort of based on Keop from G-Force.
I don't know what that
You
is.
guys don't remember G-Force?
Is it a comic
It's not
book?
that I don't remember it, it's that I've never seen it before in my life.
They had a character very much like Copper Kid on G-Force.
Is that the comic book with the?
There is a more recent G-Force comic book, I think, but it was called Battle of the Planets was the cartoon.
Oh, that yeah, I know what that is. Yeah.
That was
G-Force.
for me. That was bigger than Thundercats or.
Well, because you're so much older than us that you were
I'm very much
college
older than you.
when
And
Thundercats.
Battle of the Planets, I'll still say Battle of the Planets is better than Thundercats. Well, maybe not. Thundercats had a lot of cool villains, and so did Silverhawks.
What's weird is that I was thinking about this when we were talking about puffy muscles. The current version of Thundercats that is on television has puffier muscles than those.
I
classic
think
by
I want to
far.
watch that because they're
Yeah,
all
it
like
looks awesome.
little cartoon characters, right? I think
Yeah.
it looks awesome.
It looks
Oh,
like
yeah.
modern animation, like
But it's funny stuff, right? It's a funny show, like Teen
Yeah.
Titans, the
Yeah.
Go Titans Go or whatever.
Teen Titans Go.
Yeah, Teen Titans Go.
We watch
Do you
that
guys-
every morning.
Do you guys, since everyone listening to this is in is social distancing,
It's in Anton's room.
is Anton. Since everyone listening to this is Anton, who is alone. Do you guys have any tips for working from home?
Yeah, so yesterday I talked to Jason Latour for 2 hours because that's how talking to Latour on the phone goes. And we were discussing how for most people, like working from home is a new experience. And all of the shit that took the first 2 years of freelance or whatever for us to learn, that people are figuring out. And so we were thinking about like what's the stuff that was the hardest learned tricks and tips and stuff. And like obviously to-do lists and making your own schedule and getting up and putting clothes on and stuff everybody says. But I think that the thing that was the most difficult for me to learn that I've been telling people is that like some days are just going to suck. Like some days you're going to be bad at your job. You're going to fuck off. The hours are going to disappear on you. You're going to be anxious and stressed out and just not get anything done. And the most important thing about that is not that day, it's the next day. Like you can't let that roll into another bad. You can't wake up in the morning of the day after that thinking I got to do twice as much work today, because it's just going to like snowball and get bigger on you. You have to be able to put yesterday away every day, get up in the morning with your new to-do list and try to get as much done that day you can, and then put it to bed and start over. Because otherwise you run the risk of really getting in an anxiety, at least I run the risk of getting in an anxiety spiral that'll eat a whole week or a whole month or whatever.
That's good advice. I hope you're listening, Anton.
Anton's probably the only one of us who is actually productive during this time.
He probably is.
I've been super productive.
Oh, have you?
I have
not.
The first few days I was not, but now I am.
Well, I'm going to start getting productive. I think I've let everything get me down a little much, so I'm gonna try to recapture my old Cullen mojo. Moon star of limbo.
What I had to relearn quickly last week was, because I used to work from home pretty much all the time for a few years, and then I moved my studio office out of here. But what I realized was I need a place in my house that is the place I go to do work. And then when I leave that place, I need to leave the work there.
Yeah.
And it helps me a lot. Even if I take, it's all on my laptop or my iPad or whatever, even if I take it with me mentally, I've left it all elsewhere. And of course, like Dennis said, you got to get up every morning and act like you're going to enter society and take care of yourself.
I used to say that, like, get dressed like you're going to work and everything. And then I realized the other day that I changed out of one pair of pajamas into another pair of pajamas. And
why didn't you put clothes on? But you're the one here saying you need to get back to it.
I do need to get back to it. I'm wearing pants today. Leave me alone.
Are you though?
I am. They're comfortable pants, but they're pants.
Well, it's also the case that you just told us you're not eating anything but Beanie Weenie and frozen pizzas. So chances are your other pants are really uncomfortable right at the moment.
No, I haven't gained any weight.
I've been eating great because Evie is making the food. She makes great food.
Healthy, yeah.
And I've lost, in the last 3 days, I've lost 3 pounds.
Nice.
So if this keeps up, I'll be dead within 6 months.
But just to go off what you said, Dennis, I think people don't get so damn upset with yourself if you have an unproductive day. That's you gotta, now probably more than ever, you gotta leave yourself some time to relax and have some fun. And if you want to watch TV all day instead of work, who the hell is there to, that's your call. Who's going to tell you otherwise? So do it if it's what's going to make you feel better and happier.
Well, that's just how I feel like that it's probably how it works in an office too, but some days you're going to kill it. Like some days you're just going to do a shitload of work, and you can trick yourself into thinking, well, if I did that every day, I'd be the most productive man in comics. But you're not. Like it's like they say in sports, like eventually you are the back of your baseball card. Like you're going to average out to how good you are. You're not going to be your best day every day. And if you try to hold yourself to that standard, you're just going to disappoint yourself.
Oh yeah. If I were to really, gun it, I can guarantee, even when I had a day job at an office, I would be so much more productive at home than I would be at the office, because the offices are places full of distractions and meetings that are unnecessary, and people coming into your cubicle or your office to talk about the unnecessary meeting they just had. Offices we have convinced ourselves that offices are the place that work gets done, but it's really just a place where people drag their feet and procrastinate while thinking they're doing some work. But that's just me. Maybe offices have changed since I worked in one, but I don't think so.
Well, and I feel like the advantage of an office or of being in a place where your boss or your editor or your whatever is in the room is you got someone looking over your shoulder. Whereas you can kind of hide from that until something is past due at home. So that's the other trick is I have a set time every day where I have to be working by that time. Even if what I'm doing is, the free writing or something, like I have to be typing by noon or 10 a.m. or whatever the thing is. So that worst case scenario, I get 3 hours of work done, right? Because I'm actually much more productive on weeks I have my kids where I have to go pick my kids up at 5:30 because there is a set part of the day that I don't get work done. I'm not getting shit done. Whereas on the other weeks, I could conceivably work from 9 a.m. till 2 in the morning, but it makes it so I wait till later in the day to start. And then at some point that's night. I'm not getting anything done now. And so my giant window like fills up with other shit really quickly.
Yeah, I have to get stuff done early on. I have to start early because I'm never going to start at 7 p.m.
Right.
Because I'll just be too tired. And I kind of figured out I can get 2 things done every day, like 2 kind of big things. So if I'm this doesn't really apply since I'm not going to go anywhere for a month, but if I were going to go see a movie, that's a thing. So I'm not going to get everything done that day that I thought.
Yeah, I mean, that's important too, I think, is to give yourself actual breaks. Like, don't try to fill your entire day with working. Because if you manage to do it, the next day you're just going to be worthless. Like, it makes more sense, I think, to give yourself relaxation time, free time with your family, whatever. And I don't know. I will say it is so much easier when my kids are here, even though my kids are 5-year-olds that mostly scream at one another. Like, having other humans to interact with is huge. So those of us that are single and don't have someone living in the house with us, I think it's important to get on the phone. Like, talking to Jason for 2 hours is usually a massive waste of my time. But yesterday was really nice because it was to have some human interaction, and we got to, like, talk about things and share stories and kind of commiserate. It was really, really nice. And I think that's an important thing to do when you're isolated, because most people take for granted how much just simple social interaction they get from going to work, going to the store, whatever, all the little things we fill our lives with.
Well said.
Also, fucking exercise. That helps your brain chemistry so much. Like, getting a little bit of, like, just go for a walk for half an hour. You will feel so much better. You'll be more energized. Your brain clicks faster. It's easier to work.
Just go out into the sun.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah, just not being.
What if I just spin in my chair a lot?
As long as it makes you sweat, it's exercise.
All right.
He's like, I wasn't going to spin that fast.
I was going to spin that long. Well, I haven't done it yet. The martial arts dojo has started posting lessons online and doing like Facebook Live lessons.
Mhm.
I haven't checked that out yet, but I need to get back to it. But it feels weird doing it will feel weird to be doing these martial arts things in a room by myself rather than in a room full of.
You don't like it unless you can hit somebody? Is that what you're saying?
I don't like hitting people. I just like it's interacting with other people, in the same space is nice. But it'll come again. I'll get back to it.
Yeah, I miss the gym just for because I'm around other people and it's another environment. Like, going outside and running is nice. It's been easy to make myself do that, and I see my neighbors and take a wide berth and go around them by 8 feet, but I see them. And I like that, but then I get in here and it's hard to make myself do the other stuff. Like, it's hard to lift weights, to do push-ups or whatever I have to do in the house. So I have been trying, like, I found a little 5-minute like Pilates cardio thing that has some muscle stuff with it that I tried. And you do feel
abs?
No, I don't know. It's some lady on YouTube.
7-minute abs.
It does. All of that 8-minute ab nonsense. That makes it sound easy, but you never have to work out your abs for more than 8 minutes at a time. It's a muscle group that you beat the shit out of once a day.
I don't think it sounds easy.
I mean, 8 minutes is a long time if it hurts. Like, think about doing a plank for 8 minutes. 3 minutes of plank, your body would be sweating horribly, you fall down.
I don't even want to think about it.
You used
I'll
to
be taking planks for 3 minutes.
Kyle used to come work out at the gym with me. We would talk. I would run on treadmill, and Kyle
he would sit down in a folding chair next to you and talk to you.
No, he would be on treadmill too.
He would yell at you like Rocky's trainer. Get on with it.
I was exercising.
You need speed. Greasy, fast speed. Speed's what you need. You need that greasy, lightning hot.
We did planks,
speed.
right? That's the thing we did.
I did planks. I've done planks before. End of story.
That's it. You don't want to talk about it?
The ones I don't like the stair step things.
Oh yeah, it's awful.
Those are the worst. But
Anything
the planks
that
are
works
okay.
your legs and ass is. I mean, I have no ass, so that's part of it. But that's a painful part of your body.
Well, it hurt my knees. That was the problem with me. But,
yeah, my knees give me a lot of trouble with almost everything. So
when you're spinning in the chair.
No, spinning is very low impact on my knees.
Well, you have a fucking swimming pool that makes waves so you can stay in one place. You don't need. You just get your ass out there and swim. Cullen has the fanciest cardiovascular swimming pool the world's ever known, and he wants to spin in his chair. That's the kind of bullshit we have to deal with if you're friends with Cullen Bunn. Is it heated?
I don't think I've had to deal with it yet.
Yeah,
it's hanging over my head.
Is that pool heated?
So yes, it is
temperature controlled, so you can use it year round.
Yes,
That's amazing.
I have used it year round. It has this pole that you could attach to it and strap a belt around your waist and just swim against the current.
That's awesome. That's the coolest thing. That's the coolest.
But I'm afraid I'll be like one of those Silverhawks, and one of the cables will detach, and I'll start.
Can't you just stand up?
Didn't your son used to get in it and turn it on, and it would blast him across?
Oh, that's his favorite. He still does that. He'll get on one end, he'll turn it on, and just shoots him across the pool.
So is it like a wave pool, kind of?
It's not really a wave pool. It's a therapy spa is what it's called. So, it's got different settings, different waves, not waves, but different. The water moves in different ways, and you can set up currents and stuff like that.
Would you be willing to set up a video and do a demonstration of how it works for our listeners, watchers?
For Anton.
I can tell you that no, I am not willing to do it.
You can be fully clothed.
Yeah. You can
the reason I would do it is so that people can marvel, but I don't want to, I don't want people to get intimidated by this.
Well, and Cindy gets jealous of the ladies. I listened to The Bungalow for the first time the other day.
Was it the Dennis Hopeless, We Hate Dennis Hopeless episode?
No, it was when you had Squish on. But you have an amazing intro music. Like, where the fuck did that come from?
Kyle hooked me up with that guy.
That's awesome.
Wait, you got the rap for The Bungalow?
Yeah.
You didn't get the rap for Missouri Swagger?
No, actually, Kyle, I asked you I said, hey, what's the name of that guy? This was a year ago. What's the name of that guy? I want to get a rap for
I know the story.
For Missouri Swagger, and you said
I said
get a rap for Missouri Swagger. Wait until we get our rap for the Unearthed.
And we did.
Yeah.
And then like a week later, you're like, how do I get? What's that guy's name? And
then we weren't recording Missouri Swagger anymore. I thought it was a waste of cash.
All right. Well, now it's not.
Yeah, we got it.
That's right. We could get a Missouri Swagger rap.
All right.
Because
in the comments,
the Bungalow thing is amazing.
In the comments below, let us know if you think we should get a rap for Missouri Swagger.
Anton could just tell us when.
Maybe we could just do the rap.
No, I don't think
that's a terrible idea.
I don't think that'll ever happen.
I mean, I'd like to hear you do a rap, Cullen, if you'd like to do one by yourself.
I can't rap. I am not a rap. I was watching Love Is Blind the other day, and the most cringeworthy moment of that show for me was this guy says, "Hey, I'm a freestyle rapper," and he was actually pretty good, but it was still cringy for me to hear this guy. I mean, I was ready to hide listening to this guy rap because it was so nerve-wracking.
When I was a child, when I would watch television and there were scenes of humiliation like that, like cringy scenes, especially in high school shows, I would leave the room. Like I couldn't stand to watch the characters be humiliated.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have that reaction to that kind of scene.
I don't know. Now I love it. Like it's my favorite kind of scene now.
Well, you'll love this. So when I was a kid, my dad worked for the Convention and Visitors Bureau of St. Joseph, Missouri. And I went with him to some event. We drove hours away, and there was a talent show where people had to perform about their city. I don't know what this event was, but me and my friend David Allison, who you know, and my friend
Unicorn
Aaron Kaufman, we did a rap about St. Joe.
Lord,
it was terrible.
Please
But
tell
then-
me this has been recorded somewhere.
It was recorded. I guarantee it. I do not know if I have it. But afterward, we went around this like carnival that was part of the thing, and we played the game. We had like $30 between us, and we played this game where you would throw darts to hit balloons or something. And the carny kept going, "Here, take another one. Take another one." And what we didn't know was he was charging us for each one of these. And we were too stupid and meek to be like, "Nah, screw you, guy. We're not giving you our money." So he was like, "That's $30. So we gave this guy all our money. And what we won, well, I don't remember what the other two guys won, but what I won was a tiny square photo of Space Jam with Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny and Taz, and it was matted. And I remember Aaron was like, "Fuck this shit," and he like wanted his up and threw it away. But somewhere I still have my $30 Space Jam photo as a reminder to tell carnies the way it is.
3 kids in my elementary school, when Dare first became a thing, convinced their parents to buy them the satin Dare jacket, like a black satin jacket that said Dare on the back, and they did a Dare rap. And these were 3 very white, tone-deaf children that did this horrible Dare rap that they wrote. And I remember they walked around school for the week after that in their Dare jackets, and their parents had told them that they were going to send it to Arsenio Hall and that they were probably going to be on Arsenio Hall doing this rap, which I hadn't thought about till just now. And that's hilarious that they had such hubris. They thought they were going to be on Arsenio.
I never did a rap. I didn't enter contests because I was a painfully shy person. But I did, and I don't even know what compelled me to do this. I entered a lip sync competition in 6th grade.
Yeah.
And I sang Ray Stevens' Ahab the Arab. And
Cool, Cullen.
I did
cool.
not win, which was shocking to me. But I came in 2nd. But for maybe a week or 2 after, I was like a popular kid. Everybody thought I was awesome because I did that stupid lip sync.
You should have done another one and kept it going. That
Well,
momentum.
Years later, my friends and I in 10th grade, they had a lip sync contest, and we wanted to enter, and we were going to do City of Crime from the
Dragnet movie.
Yeah. And we practiced City of Crime for weeks in preparation of this, and then we chickened out at the last minute.
Do you remember any of it?
Oh, I don't remember. I mean, if I were to listen,
Crime.
if I were to listen to it, I could probably pick it up. But I remember one of us was going to be Friday, and the other was going to be
Pep Strebeck.
and then my one buddy was going to be a cultist in like goatskin
a
pants.
pagan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very
But
disappointed.
we chickened out.
We
We chickened out like the day before we decided we weren't going to do it.
You know,
And
Colin, go ahead.
It's probably for the best. No one watched Dragnet when it was in the theaters, so no one was going to know that song. You would have, but you didn't go to high school with me.
Well,
I think it would have been funny if you didn't know the song.
you know why I knew that song is because that summer our family won infinite free movies. So my parents would just drop us off at the theater.
You watched Dragnet 100 times.
Yeah, I saw Harry and the Hendersons 3 times in a day.
That's the 2 amazing movies that I saw. Harry and the Hendersons in the theater. I didn't see Dragnet for like 10 years after it came out. It was on HBO one summer for cheap.
I think that one I went with my parents because I think it was R-rated maybe.
Dragnet?
Yeah, I think so.
What was R-rated in
I
Dragnet?
think there's nudity in it. No,
I
I'm
don't
thinking of Vacation.
Those pagans just like to dance in their goatskin pants around those ancient.
And then all
ruins.
their pills come out.
All right.
Colin, you know, your popping and locking skills, which I've seen, combined with the fact that I now understand you're good at lip syncing, you could be a TikTok star pretty easily because that's essentially all that app is 15-second clips of people dancing and lip syncing to modern songs. So you have a niche to play an old ass song. What?
I'm fascinated by these people dancing to the Blinding Lights song that's on TikTok now everywhere. I'm fascinated. I love it. And I especially love it when old dudes get out and do it. And I think like grandpas. And it's awesome.
TikTok is the most addictive thing you could possibly put on your phone. It's like Candy Crush, but with people, because it's brilliant. It's 15 to 30-second clips, I think. And it repeats if you let it sit there. So it makes you want to scroll. So you can accidentally eat an hour just watching, like random people dance to the same song or do skits or whatever. And
that
then
could be you, Cullen.
And unlike other other social media, you don't have to subscribe to anything. You just go to the main channel and it throws you shit. Like it shows you popular stuff. And then I think the algorithm figures out what you like based on how many times you watch things. And then it switches.
Whoa. I don't want a computer figuring out what I like.
You're one of the more difficult ones to
I'm gonna tell you right now, if I close this out and there's like a dragnet video on my screen, like you might like this, I'm gonna be very angry.
There will be.
You'll never see me again.
City of Crime. Okay, Dragnet. There's a good Coneheads rap. Dan Aykroyd was really into the raps.
Yeah.
What other raps? There's the Crypt Keeper rap. It's called the Crypt Keeper Jam. That's a good one.
Dan Aykroyd plays with Digital Underground in Nothing But Trouble too.
He does, but they're, well, I guess they probably did make a music video of All Around the World using Nothing But Trouble footage.
The best footage there is.
There was a couple of years ago, Sydney was going on a cruise, and they were doing a karaoke contest, and I don't do karaoke, but I thought if I was gonna do it, I'd do a Blues Brothers song, and I'd do Dan Aykroyd's crazy Blues Brother dance moves. But
which song?
I don't know.
Why don't you do karaoke?
Rubber Biscuit.
Rubber Biscuit?
Look it up.
Colin, why don't you do karaoke? You'd be great at karaoke.
I don't have a good voice.
You don't have to have a good voice. It's all about showmanship.
Yeah, I don't have any of that.
Well, you have more showmanship than anyone I know. You just don't get it out much. You have to be a little bit drunk and very happy.
Oh, one of those things frequently, but only for a few minutes.
You got to listen to
for a little bit.
You got to listen to Rubber Biscuit.
All right,
I'm going to send that to you
after this. I'm sure I've heard Rubber Biscuit.
Here's my favorite line from Rubber Biscuit. A wish sandwich is the kind of a sandwich where you have 2 slices of bread and you wish you had some meat.
I've heard this song, and I know that line somewhere.
I probably said it to you before.
So Kyle.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny? I meant to talk to Kyle. I said Cullen, and then my brain started to say Dodge, because usually when I get the name Cullen wrong, I'm talking to my children.
It is funny.
Because I foolishly named my children after Cullen, or one of them. Kyle.
Both of them, because I dodge responsibility.
So does he.
And questions.
I want to know what the Missouri Swagger story you told was at the time you visited the previous version of the show.
I think it was Chewbacca.
So you got to tell Warrior Drink.
Oh. Oh, man. All right, I'll tell Warrior Drink if you want me to.
Let's hear Warrior Drink. I've never heard this story.
So my friend Andy Schneeflock, a really good friend of mine, we went to high school together. He lives in New York now. But we're both from St. Joseph. We both love Star Trek, The Next Generation. And we both love Worf. And there is an episode of Star Trek, The Next Generation. I think it's Yesterday's Enterprise, where Worf does not appear in the episode because I could go on and on, but I won't. So at the beginning, there is a scene with Worf so that we get to see Worf once. And he's sitting in 10 forward with Guinan. And she, because she's wise, gives him some prune juice. And he scoffs. He's like, I don't want prune juice. Why would I want this human drink? And she's like, just try it. So Worf takes a drink. And he says, Warrior Drink. And from then on in the show, Worf always drinks prune juice. Even
is that why he's not on that episode? He had some sort of gastric reaction to
No,
the prune?
no, he's a Klingon. He doesn't have a gastric reaction to prune juice.
Okay.
He was not in the episode because
sorry, dude.
in that episode there's a time distortion where the Federation is at war with the Klingons, and the Enterprise is a warship.
Gotcha.
So there are no Klingons on it. So they were like, we'll put Worf at the beginning, and that's what you get. Well, Andy and I were foolish people, and we're like, we're going back to your dad's house. Let's get some prune juice. Let's get some warrior drink. And we did. We got a big thing of prune juice, and we took it back, and we set up in the kitchen, and we were pouring glasses of it. And Andy's dad walks by, and he goes, What are you guys doing? And we're like, we got prune juice. We got some warrior drink, like Worf. We're going to drink warrior drink. And he goes, all right. And he walks off. And so Andy and I, we drank our entire glasses. And then I was just talking to Andy about this. We went downstairs, and either we played like a PlayStation 2 game, or we watched the director's commentary of Star Trek First Contact. But in the middle of it, it became very clear that things were happening and we needed to leave. So I went home. He was like, and Andy stayed, but was sick. And that's the story
of warrior drink.
As you said, as you ran out of the house to go, you ran past his dad, and his dad was just laughing.
Oh, did I say that? I don't remember that, but that's probably the case. Yeah.
So one time, not that long ago, a friend of mine and I told him that story. And so we did shots of prune juice until we had both drank 2 40-ounce bottles of prune juice.
Your story's even stupider. Because
Yeah.
you knew.
Yes. But it was like a dare situation. And
Did you have a black jacket?
No.
It said dare on it?
No, I mean like truth and dare, not drug abuse resistance education. But we stayed up. We started drinking. The worst part was we started at like 11 p.m. and we sat and drank for like an hour, just shots and drank all this prune juice.
That's so stupid. That's stupid.
It's the most miserable night I've had in my entire life. Because
Did you call it warrior drink at least?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. That was
every shot you took. Warrior drink.
Have never had a worse
warrior drink.
I just got I know as soon as we can get the grocery stores again what we're doing on Missouri Swagger for an hour.
The problem is it took 2 or 3 hours for it to actually hit.
We need to put that behind a paywall.
Yeah, that's paywall. If you guys want to see us drink prune juice for an hour or more, I love it. And say warrior drink.
Might be a short episode. I don't know.
Well, no, it took it. I mean, I guess that night it took a long time for it to kick in. Like it took well over an hour for it to kick in.
I remember when Squish was little, to help him go to the bathroom, the doctor said the pediatrician said we should give him prunes, and he wouldn't eat them. So I had to take a prune out, and I'd have to eat one, and then I'd say, "Oh, that was so good, that was delicious. I'm gonna have another prune," and I'd have to put it on the table and say, "But I'm gonna go in the other room for a second," and nobody eat my prunes. And I'd go in the other room, and I'd come back, and he'd always have a prune. He'd always be eating it and laughing. And one time he did it, and he just went into the can, and he just put his mouth full of prunes. It's just a big smiling mouth full of prunes, and he was trying to chew them all down.
How'd that go for him?
It went fine. He still doesn't like prunes, though.
Well, now we're talking about
like prunes either, I discovered.
That's a Chris Grind level of energy to put in to get your kids to eat something.
Yeah, you have to sometimes.
All right, I think let's wrap her up.
All right.
Season 2, episode 2 in the can.
Where can people find you guys?
I got a plug.
Yeah, plug.
I started a Patreon, so you should come visit my Patreon. It's Patreon/Kyle Strahm. And what you get, we get lots of stuff that I post, but what you get for signing up is a webcomic I made like 15 years ago called Clockwork Creature.
I already have that. What do I get?
Well, you're not going to sign up anyway.
Shut up, Dennis.
I might.
All right. Well, if you sign up, I'll give you something special. Anyway, it's like 78 pages. It's good stuff.
Is it all? Are you serializing it, or is it all like boom?
No,
it's there?
my Patreon, what I'm sharing on Patreon, 3 times a week, I'm sharing inked pages from comics I've worked on in the past. Once a week, I'm sharing a character design from a pitch that either didn't happen or has happened, but
cool.
those have never been published. Once a week, I'm sharing a peek at stuff I'm working on now. Once a week, I'm sharing. I call this one the Stained Vault. I open the stained manila folder from my childhood, and I take a character from it, and I'll share that. They're all weird. There's one coming up tomorrow. Well, I don't know when this is going to air, but if you go there now, you can see the one called the Woody Nailer.
Woody Nailer?
And then once a month, I'll drop like a digital book. So the first one is Clockwork Creature, and I have a sketchbook on there.
That's awesome.
So,
I've been thinking about launching or putting out. I have a folder of old art that I did. A lot of it's Mighty Man and Monster Makers images,
Sure.
but when I was really into House of Mystery as a kid, I started coming up with my own House of Mystery, but it had a cast of different monsters that lived in this house, and I drew them all, and I've never put them out. They're not good drawings. I thought about doing it somewhere.
Put it on
but I
your
don't know
Patreon.
where. What was your Patreon address again?
Patreon/Kyle Strahm.
Easy to remember.
My one experience with Patreon is I met a guy at a con once, very nice fellow who did some comics adjacent work. And
Chris Grine?
I started, his name was Chris Grine. I started following Chris on Patreon, and nobody else followed Chris on Patreon. And so I would get these monthly or weekly updates.
Was it Chris Grine?
Yes. No. I'm taking the names to protect the innocent. But I would
incriminate
and
also incriminate the innocent.
Chris Grine is anything but innocent. But I would get these monthly updates that were written to Patreon followers as if there was a large group, but I was the only one. So,
Yeah, I've been in that boat.
So it was amazing. Because you could have just sent it straight to me, Chris. If you want to send me an email, just send me an email.
You know what Chris Grine would say?
What?
He'd say, "You wouldn't write back."
I don't even know why I tried. Chris Grine's a good friend of ours, and he's a little bit neurotic.
I love you, Chris Grine.
We love you a great deal. And we used to
He's
go.
drawn some very unflattering pictures of all of us.
That's a secret. That's a secret.
It is?
You're telling tales out of school.
I didn't know that was a secret.
But Chris, he will text us from time to time, like legitimate, sincere, earnest questions. And Kyle and I always find a way to make fun of him.
I think Dennis is a little more cruel about it.
Of course you do. Because you're the one that decides where your boundaries are, and I'm the one that decides where my boundaries are. So of course you're going to like yours better. But yeah, Chris always gets frustrated and says, I don't know why I try. It's awesome.
Well, he should message me sometime with some of his concerns and thoughts.
I used to make him eat custard too. He's lactose intolerant. And we'd go to lunch, and he was supposed to go back to Hallmark because this is when he still had a day job. But I was the one driving, so I would drive way out of the way to go get custard, frozen custard. And he couldn't eat any custard, or it would give him gastrointestinal issues.
We really fucked that guy's day up.
Yeah, we did.
No one crossed Dennis. Don't cross Dennis. He'll send you some TCBY.
I don't try to be the villain of Missouri Swagger. It just happens naturally.
Yep. So
right.
Thanks everyone for joining us today.
Where can you find Cullen?
So you can visit my website right now, cullenbunn.com. It has gotten my website's undergone an amazing facelift, and there's some things we have to finish on it, but I had an incredible designer go in and redo my Facebook my website, and it's a lot more user friendly, and it's awesome. That designer, by the way, is the producer of this show, Anton Kromoff.
Would you say it was more of a Mum Ra transformation or a Monstar transformation?
It's more of a Mum Ra transformation. It went from old and crotchety to awesome and muscular. Like
All right.
me. It reflects me much more accurately.
And you can find me at Hopeless Dent at Twitter, or just Google search Dennis Hopeless or Dennis Hallum. You'll find me. You see my hair.
Right. And I think we'll probably have links in the description of this episode.
And you can always see pictures of my children.
We would if this weren't just Anton listening to us talk.
Anton just puts a little sticky note on his computer screen, gives it a kiss.
All right, folks. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. If you like the
Thank you.
episode, give us a thumbs up or a like, and please subscribe.
Next time it'll be even better.
Thank you, Dennis. We have something that gets added somewhere. I don't know.